You know that sound, that earth-shattering, soul-shaking roar. It is, without a doubt, one of the most iconic sounds in movie history, and it belongs to a king. So today, we're going to dig into the 5 core truths that really define the one and only Godzilla.
I mean, think about it. For more than 70 years, this creature has been this constant force in pop culture. A massive figure stomping through our cities on screen, sure, but leaving an even bigger footprint on our collective imagination. He's so much more than just a giant lizard.
But that's the real question, isn't it? When you get past the destruction, past the atomic breath, what is Godzilla really? You might think you have the answer, but trust me, the truth is way more complex and honestly, way more fascinating than you probably think.
To find our first truth, we have to go all the way back to the beginning, back to a time and place of just profound trauma and fear. You see, the story doesn't start with fantasy. It starts with a terrifying reality. So, let's peel back that first crucial layer. And this is the part you really have to get. The original 1954 film, Godzilla, was not some fun action blockbuster. No way. It was a dark, horrifying film made by a nation that had literally experienced nuclear annihilation. Godzilla wasn't just some monster that showed up. He was the living, breathing, walking embodiment of the atomic bomb.
And wow, this quote from the original producer Tomoyuki Tanaka, it just says it all, doesn't it? A nightmare created out of the darkness of the human soul. For Japan, Godzilla was a way to process an unspeakable horror, a way to put a face to their deepest, darkest anxieties about this new nuclear age they'd been forced into. But he didn't stay just a symbol of man-made terror. Godzilla's meaning started to grow, to expand. He became something even more primal, something more elemental. He became a force of nature itself.
And that right there reveals our second truth.
I mean, this just captures that evolution perfectly. He's not just our atomic fears anymore. Now, he is the tsunami you can't stop. He's the earthquake that rips the ground apart. He represents that terrifying, awesome power of the natural world, a power that is completely and totally indifferent to us. He is nature's brutal comeback to our own arrogance. Okay, but this is where the story takes a truly dramatic turn. The symbol of terror, this walking natural disaster, he becomes something else entirely. Something you'd never expect. Almost a hero. And that brings us to truth number 3, which honestly might be the most surprising one of all. You can just see the total 180 here. He starts out as the Destroyer, a clear and present danger to all of humanity. But slowly, over the decades, he morphs into the Protector. He's no longer fighting against us, he's fighting for us. Or, well, at least for the planet, against other, even bigger threats. He becomes this reluctant guardian, the anti-hero we find ourselves rooting for. And you can actually pinpoint when this all started to change. In '54, he is pure terror. But just a decade later, in Ghidorah the three-headed monster, he actually teams up with other monsters to save the world. It was a huge shift. Then you fast forward to the modern American movies, and he's fully cemented in that role as this ancient force of nature, a guardian just trying to keep the balance. All right, so let's recap. We've got the nuclear metaphor, the force of nature, and the villain turned hero. But when you put all of that together, it created something even bigger, a genuine worldwide phenomenon.
And all of that leads us straight to our fourth truth, his status as a global icon.
You have to understand, Godzilla didn't just star in monster movies, he basically created an entire genre. The word is kaiju, which is Japanese for strange beast, and he is the undisputed king, the pioneer of this whole thing, making him its global ambassador. Seriously, when you think giant monster, who do you think of? It's Godzilla. And that's what's so incredible, right? A character that was born from this very specific, very painful national trauma in Japan somehow grew beyond its origins to become one of the most recognizable and, loved figures in global pop culture. He's right up there with Superman or Mickey Mouse. It's wild.
So after all this, we get to the final point. We all call him the King of the Monsters. It's his title. But what truly gives him that crown?
See, it's not just about him being the biggest or having the most powerful atomic breath. His kingship, his crown, is built on all of these layers of meaning that we've just been talking about. It's about the weight of the ideas he carries on those massive shoulders. When you lay it all out like this, you realize his path to the throne is really a journey through us. First, he had to embody our deepest, darkest fears of self-destruction.
Then he had to become a symbol for the unstoppable power of nature itself. He evolved right along with us, changing from villain to protector. And finally, he brought a global audience together. Now that is the work of a true king.
Which leaves me with one final thought for you. If Godzilla has always been a mirror, right? Reflecting our greatest anxieties, from the atomic bomb to natural disasters, what does he reflect back at us today? In our world of climate change, global pandemics, and all these new threats we can't even see, what kind of monster, what kind of Godzilla are we creating right now?